I'm going to start off by talking about Halloween, but not in the way you might think, which would be to focus on candy. That will happen at the Oneg. I said that so your dopamine receptors would begin to ignite your pleasure sensors. Years ago, I participated in the Institute for Jewish Spirituality and was exposed for the first time in a serious and helpful way to yoga and meditation. Our meditation teacher spoke about Halloweeners. Wait, what? When you are listening to a meditation teacher, it isn't a joke-filled time. They are guiding your attention and thoughts. The moment is one of awakened introspection, serious soul calming, and mind focusing. What was she saying? What is a Halloweener? Why am I here? Will I ever be able to sit still? Can I take a nap if no one notices? Oops, mind gone astray. Breathe. Come back to the breath. Be here. Refocus your attention. But my reaction was still, wait, what? Soon I figured it out while I was breathing and listening, focused on her explanation. She was teaching us about our thoughts and what to do with them. Just because we think of something, does it mean that we massage it with our minds? She used the image of trick-or-treaters, a much better depiction than her chosen description. On Halloween, many different characters, Halloweeners, show up at our door. Some are cute and make us smile. Others are meant to frighten and scare us. With each Halloweener, we look at them and assess, commenting out loud to ourselves or to them, nice, pleasant, scary, unpleasant. And so it goes. What we don't do is invite these gremlins and princesses in for dinner and give them a place to sleep, unless they are our children. As it goes with the Halloweeners, so can it apply to our thoughts. Our musings can be nice, pleasant, scary, or unpleasant. We name them and then let them go. Often, if we experience something unpleasant and name it as such, we might not get caught up in reacting in an unnecessary way. One of our former rabbis of Temple Israel, Joshua Loth-Liebman of blessed memory, offered this perspective by reminding us that our minds are not a democracy. Not every thought gets a vote. That's from his book, Peace of Mind. In many ways, life itself is a meditation. We encounter situations, one after the other in rapid succession. How do we respond? What do we hold and ponder? And what do we let go of? Abram, from this week's portion, came upon numerous situations that speak to his own way of being in the world as he encountered what was pleasant and unpleasant and how he managed. When we first meet him and his wife Sarai, they lived in Ur. For those who may not be familiar, that's in southern Iraq. We learn that Abram was one of 3 sons. There was also Haran, who died, and Nahor. Their father's name was Terach. The text also informed us that Sarai was infertile. Here is an explicit piece of information that hints of sadness or disappointment as we might read it. Unpleasant, for sure. Then the family was on the move. Terach took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram, and they set out together from Ur of the Chaldeans, place of southern rock, toward the land of Canaan. They went up through the Fertile Crescent. But when they came up here as far as Haran, they settled there. And Terach died in Haran. They traveled from Mesopotamia, went along the Fertile Crescent, and stopped. In essence, they only got halfway toward Canaan. In the time that they settled in Haran, Terach, Abram's father, died. Abram is next in line, responsible for his nephew Lot and his wife Sarai. As we know, he has no children of his own. It is in this moment that this week's Torah portion opens with God's instruction to go forth, to leave it all behind. Vayomer Adonai el Avram, lech lecha, from the familiar land, from me'artzecha, of his birth, umimoladetecha, from his father's house, umibeit avicha, to the land God would show him, el eretz asher arecha. For some, this might seem plausible. Is there anything that God can't do? Yet from a human perspective, for a person dealing with his father's death and his newfound responsibility, the request might have been unfathomable. Up to this point, we have no knowledge of Abraham's, Sarai's, or Lot's connection to any divinity. But the rabbis, who come much later, love to think of the people who lived then as idol worshippers, and therefore distinguish Abram and Sarai from the others as someone capable of not just hearing a higher calling or sacred purpose, but also paying attention to it. There was something else, however, that drew him in, a pleasant kind of bidding. God gave Abram direction not just toward a place, but also a way of being. God described to him that Abram would be a great nation, blessed and prosperous, and one other very crucial offering. V'yehei bracha. We can read it as, you shall be a blessing. We can also read it as, you shall be. V'yehei, full stop, is a blessing. You shall be is a blessing. Just being present, mindful in the moment is the blessing. This is another way of saying that Abram's presence in the world, just being in it, mindful, awake, and aware, is blessing in and of itself. Where he will travel and what will become of him and his family by their existence, by their being, is the blessing. Abram realized that the divine presence placed him within a larger picture of the universe. That call of lech lecha, go forth, attached a sacred purpose to his being in the world. Be present. Be aware. That is blessing. So Abram proceeded. Each step along the way brought challenge, unpleasant, and blessing, pleasant. The portion ends with Abram's name and Sarai's name changing as instructed by God. Each name receives the letter He as a representation of the divine. Abraham, Sarah. This is not the end of their story, nor is it the end of ours. We regard Abraham and Sarah as the first Jews. They brought others in. They created a very large family of which all of us are a part of. God's initial call, go forth, lech lecha, accompanied by you shall be, is a blessing. V'heyah bracha is to us as well. Be and be better because we are paying attention. We face challenges and will continue to face them as well as amazing triumphs as we go forward, pleasant and unpleasant. At the same time, we exist. We are here and not going anywhere. We are Jews, Jewish adjacent, part of the Jewish orbit, family members of Jews, inextricably linked to one another and our history. Let us feel this blessing. Let us feel the purpose of this blessing, the sacred purpose of having that divine command to be and to be better in this world by how we then act and regard one another, how we bring chesed, compassion, and tzedek and justice into action. Let us take the depth of this blessing as we go forth with the strength of our tradition, holding us and welcoming all of us in. So may it be. Ken yehi ratzon. I'd like to now ask all of us present here. We're going to do two things together. The first is just to sit and to be, just to breathe, to be present. And when you find your mind going to lots of different places, come back to your breath. Let's just be. And as we breathe, and perhaps have our eyes closed, on this Shabbat, when we consider how Abraham and Sarah were the first ones to make them part of the Jewish people, let's just consider for a moment something every single one of us can consider. How might we describe how Judaism might be a blessing for us, wherever we sit, however we are connected?
You shall be blessing. You shall be blessing. You shall be blessing. Lechi